بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعزائي طلبة وطلبات شهادة الثانوية العامة قسم رياضيات لغات، أهلا بكم. النهاردة إن شاء الله هناخد درس جديد في مراجعة عامة على الهندسة الفراغية. طبعا انتوا عارفين ان الهندسة الفراغية هي جزء من امتحان الجبر. Welcome my dear student in our math program for secondary 3. Today we are taking general revision in solid geometry. Dear student, solve the first example. If a vector negative 1, 2, 2. Remember, a vector in 3 dimensions, negative 1, 2, 2. Norm B vector equals x. A vector parallel to B vector. Find B vector. Dear student, remember, what is the given? We have a vector equals negative 1, 2, 2. And norm B vector equals x. Also, from the given, A vector parallel B vector, the required find B vector. Solution. Dear student, if we have two vectors are parallel, what you deduce? Say a vector parallel B vector. Then B vector equals Ka vector. When we have two vectors are parallel, then B vector equal constant A vector. We deduce that norm B vector equal absolute K times norm A vector. K is constant. Then by substitution about B vector, norm equal 6 equal K vector equal K norm multiply norm A equal square root negative 1 square plus 2 square plus 2 square. Then we deduce that K equals 2. Then K equals positive or negative 2. Then, dear student, B vector equals 2 multiply negative 1, 2, 2. Answer is negative 2, 4, 4. Or when K equals negative 2, by substitution about negative 2, then B vector equal negative 2 multiply negative 1, 2, 2. Answer is 2, negative 4, negative 4. Another example. Prove that A, B, C are collinear if A equals 1, 2, 3, B 4, 0, 4, C negative 2, 4, 2. Dear student, how to prove that A, B, and C 3 points are collinear? What is the condition of A, B, and C are collinear? Means 3 points lie on straight line. How to prove? Find AB length or distance and BC and AC. Then we deduce that AB plus BC equal AC. By using another proof, we can prove that AB vector equal BC vector equal AC vector. Dear student, look at the solution. How to prove that 3 points are collinear? Look at the solution. AB vector, what do you mean of AB vector? B minus A. B vector, B 3, negative 2, 1. Then BC vector means C minus B. We find BC vector by C minus B equals coordinates negative 6, 4, negative 2. Then we find AB vector cross BC vector equals by using determine IJK. What is the coefficient of second AB of the second row? 3, negative 2, negative 6, 4, negative 2. Then find the determinant of AB vector times BC vector must equal 0. Then we deduce that A, B, C are collinear. Then we deduce that if we prove A, B, and C are collinear by using determine find IJK, then the coordinate of AB vector 3, negative 2, 1, coordinate BC vector negative 6, 4, negative 2. If we find the determined or to solve this determinant, we find the value equal 0. What you mean? Then A, B, C are collinear. Dear student, the condition when to prove that A, B, C are collinear by using determinant, we find the value of A, B and value and vector B, C, find the cross vector of cross product of A, B and B, C by using determinant if the determinant equals 0. What you mean? A, B and C are collinear. Look at, dear student, another example. Gas is leaking out from spherical balloon at rate 10 by centimeter cubic per second. Remember, dear student, gas is leaking out from a spherical balloon at rate 10 by. What is the by? By constant value 3.14 or 22/7 centimeter cubic per second. This volume. When the radius length equals 10, find the rate of change of each radius length, the rate of change of balloon surface area. Solution. Dear student, the radius length of balloon equals R. Surface area balloon equal capital A centimeter square. Volume equal V centimeter cubic. Then, what is the volume of a sphere? 4/3 pi R power 3. This rule, volume of a sphere 4/3 pi R power 3. Then differentiation respect to time t, dv over dt 4 by r square dr by dt by using substitution to find dr by dt, then dr over dt equals -1/4 centimeter per second. Since area of a sphere 4 by r square, dA by dt equals 8 by r dr by dt, by substitution dr over dt equals 10, then dA over dt -1/4 equals 8 dA over dt. 8 by times 10 times -1/40 equal -2 by centimeter squared per second. Another example. Metal lamina in the form of an isosceles triangle, its height equal twice its base. Length of each base is increasing by heating rate 0.04 centimeter per second. Find the increasing surface area of lamina when each base 8 centimeter. The rate of change of each side length. Solution. Look at ABC lamina as isosceles triangle AB equal AC equals L. Then look at BC. BC, suppose BC equal X, AD equals 2X. Then D midpoint of BC, BD equal half X. Look at triangle ABD, right angle triangle, hypotenuse L, and AD equal to X, BD equal half X. Let the base length of X centimeter. Therefore, the length of its height 2X. Surface area of the triangle equals A. Its symbol A centimeter, and the length equals length side equal L. Then what is the area? Equal half base times height. What is the base? X. What is the height? 2X. Then what is the area of lamina? This lamina is shaped isosceles triangle. Then area equals half times X times 2X equal X squared. Differentiation by respect to time t. Then dA over dt equals 2x dx over dt. dA over dt at t equals 8, 2 times 8 times 0.04 equals 0.64 centimeter square per second. Then we know that L square in isosceles triangle ABC, we know that ABD is right angle triangle at D. We find L square hypotenuse equals sum of square of two sides, 2x square plus half x for all power 2. Then L square equal 4x square plus quarter x square equal 17 over 4x square. Then what is the length? Equal square root 17 over 2x. This relation between length of AB and BD, or half of base of triangle BC. Differentiation with respect to time, then dl over dt equals root 17 over 2 dx over dt. By substitution, dl over dt equals root 17 over 2 times 0.04. Answer is 0.02 root 17 centimeter per second. Look at A, B, C, D. The opposite figure represent cuboid whose dimensions DC equal 8 centimeter, BC equal 6 centimeter, OC 5 centimeter, or 3 dimensions. 3 dimensions is length 8, 6, and 5 centimeter. Force F of magnitude 200 Newton acts in the direction of OA direction. Look at OA direction. We have force 200 Newton act on of the diagonal OA. Express the force F in algebraic form. This is number 1. Number 2, find the measure of direction angles of F. Since, dear student, A vector equals 6i vector plus 8j vector plus 5k vector. What is the norm of A? Square root coefficient x plus power 2 plus coefficient y power 2 plus coefficient z power 2. The norm A vector, square root 36 plus 64 plus 25. Answer is 5 root 5 length unit. This norm of A. After that, the unit vector in direction of A equals A vector over norm A vector. The unit vector of direction A vector equals the vector over norm A vector. Then, by substitution, answer 6 over 5 root 5 I vector plus 8 over 5 root 5 j vector plus 1 over root 5 k vector. Then F is algebraic form is expressed as follows. In algebraic form, we know that F equals 200 multiply 6 over 5 root 5i plus 8 over 5 root 5j plus 1 over root 5k. Then by using multiplication of 200 each component of the vector, answer is 48 root 5 I vector plus 64 root 5 j vector plus 40 root 5 k vector. This is the force which act on OA diagonal vector. Direction of cosine. We know that A vector equals 6 over 5 root 5, 8 over 5 root 5, 1 over root 5. What is the cosine? Measure of direction angle of F vector by using calculator. 57 degrees 32 minutes, 44 degrees 18 minutes, 63 degrees 26 minutes. This is direction. Another example. ABCD is a square. Side length 10 centimeter. Find AB vector dot DC vector. Number 2, AB vector dot BC vector. AB vector dot CA vector. Remember, dear student, we have square. A, B, C, D is a square. Side length 10 centimeter. What is the required? AB vector dot DC vector. We know that AB parallel to DC. What is the angle between them? Equal 0. Also, we know that AB vector and the BC vector, the angle between them is x and student, right angle triangle. Look at the solution. Look at ABCD is square. AB vector, DC vector are parallel on the same direction. AB vector, DC vector parallel on the same direction. What? You deduce excellent angle between them equals 0. Then when we find AB vector dot DC vector, what is the rule? Norm AB vector, norm DC vector, cosine angle between them. What is the angle between them? Equals 0. Why? Because AB vector parallel DC vector and the same direction. Then by using substitution, what is the norm of AB? Side length of AB, 10 times 10, cosine 0 equal 1, answer is 100. This is AB vector dot DC vector. Look at AB vector and the BC vector are perpendicular. B, right angle between them. The measure of angle between them is 90 degrees. Then what is the AB vector dot BC vector? X and student equal 0. Why? Cosine 90. If we find length of AB, it's norm of AB, and norm BC equals 10, but cosine 90 equals what? Equals 0. Then AB vector dot BC vector equals 0. AB vector and CA vector. What is the angle between AB vector and CA vector? Look at CA is diagonal vector. Angle don't start at the point, then measure of angle between them equal 135. Why? Diagonal angle between AB CA external angle, cosine 135. By using AB vector 10, but CA is diagonal equal 10 root 2. Then by substitution, 10 times 10 root 2 times negative 1 over 2, answer is negative 100. Dear student, in this example, we note that if we have ABCD square and side length equal 10, what do you mean side length equal 10? It's norm of each side 10. Norm AB means is side length of AB. We have AB and DC are two vectors are parallel. What do you mean? Two line segments are parallel and the same direction means angle between them equals 0. We know that AB dot DC equals norm of the first times norm of the second, cosine angle between them. What is the angle between them? Angle equals 0. Then what is the cosine 0? Equals 1. But AB vector and the BC vector, angle between them is right angle triangle equal 90 degrees. What is the cosine 90? X and student. Cosine 90 equals 0. Then when we find AB dot BC, answer is 0. Why? Because two vector or two line segments are perpendicular, then the cross product equals 0. Dear student, look at the following example. We have another solution. If we have AB dot CA equals AB dot negative AC. Why? Because CA vector equal negative AC vector from properties of the vector. AB vector equal negative VA vector, or CA vector equal negative AC vector. Then AB vector equals negative AB vector dot AC vector. By substitution equals norm AB vector, norm AC vector, cosine angle between AB and AC. AB and AC, the AC is diagonal, angle between a side and diagonal equal 45. By using substitution, answer is negative 100. Another example. Find the value of L, M, and N, which makes the two vectors. A vector L minus 4, M square minus 3, 1. B vector 5, 1, N square are equal. Solution. If we have two vectors R equals A vector equals B vector, what you deduce? Then AX equal BX, AY equal BY, AZ equal BZ. When AX equal BX, this equation, left hand side L minus 4, right hand side 5, L equals what? 9. Also AY equals BY. What you deduce? M square minus 3 equals 1, then M square equals 4. M equals what? Positive or negative 2. Also AZ equal BZ, then N square equals 1. What is the value of N? Positive or negative 1. When we have two vectors R equals, then coefficient of X or component of X equal component of X, component of Y equal component of Y, component of Z equal component of Z. We deduce three equations, find the value of M, L, and N. Another example. A vector 2I vector minus 3J vector plus K vector, B vector negative I vector negative 2J vector. Find the value of 2A vector minus 3B vector, norm A plus B vector, norm A vector plus norm B vector. Solution. Dear student, 2A vector minus 3B vector, we multiply 2, the value or the constant, multiply each component of A vector, and multiply 3 of each component of V vector, then subtract. Then answer is 2 multiply 2I vector minus 3J vector plus K vector minus 3 multiply negative I negative J vector. Answer is 7I vector plus 2K vector, the result of 2A vector minus 3B vector. The first, find 2A vector by multiply each component by 2, and 3B vector by multiply 3 each component on V vector, then subtract. Answer is 7I plus 2K vector. A vector plus B vector, we add component of I plus component of I, J plus J, and K plus K. Answer is I vector negative 5 J vector plus K vector. This is A vector plus V vector. What is the norm? The norm of A vector plus B vector equals square root of square of each component, 1 square plus negative 5 square plus 1 square equals square root 27. Norm A vector plus norm B vector. Norm A vector means square root of square of each component of A. Also norm B vector equals square root square of each component of V. Then square root 2 square plus negative 3 square plus 1 square plus norm of V equals negative 1 square plus negative 2 square. Answer is square root 14 plus square root 5. Don't add square root 14 plus square root 5. Unlike terms, we know that, or we deduce norm of A plus B vector not equals norm A plus norm B. Remember, dear student, this example, we deduce that norm of sum of two vectors not equals add or sum of norm of the two vectors. Then we know that norm of A vector plus B vector not equals A vector plus B vector. Dear student, in this example, we know that if we have two vectors, A vector and B vector, if we find A vector plus B vector, then find the norm of A, B vector. What we deduce? We deduce that norm of A plus B vector not equals A vector plus B vector. Why? Remember, dear student, what is the norm of A vector? In each vector has a length. What is the length of the vector? Its norm. Remember, if the length of the norm vector equals 1, this vector is called unit vector. As example, I vector 1, 0, 0, J vector 0, 1, 0, K vector 0, 0, 1. When we find the norm I vector equal 1, norm J vector equals 1, norm of K vector equals 1. Dear student, remember this example means the vectors of adding or subtract or find the norm of the vector is very important to solve our problems in solid geometry. Dear student, I am very happy to spend such time with you. Don't forget, math simple, think, work, produce. Goodbye.